Showtime! The Capital G show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here. Today we're looking at the divisive conundrum of a year that was 2016. Many consider 2016 to be one of the worst years in recent memory, but the game of Yu-Gi-Oh tells a quite different story. One where the game saw record-breaking attendance at YCS events and World Championship qualifiers across Europe and North America, the release of great new archetypes and booster sets, and of course, over 140,000 duelists around the world entering premier events. With that said, Yu-Gi-Oh released hundreds of cards this year, but obviously they weren't all created equal, and we'll be focusing only on the best of the bunch. So per usual, I made a comprehensive list based on playability, impact on the meta, and raw power of the card. And of course, I will only be considering cards that were released in the 2016 calendar year. At this point, I'm pretty sure you guys know how it goes. Welcome to the top 10 cards of 2016, the Yu-Gi-Oh hierarchy. Number 10, ABC Buster Dragon. Let's start things off with the best fusion monster of the year, and what really makes this deck as strong as it is. A 3,000 attack behemoth that can be summoned using resources from the grave, has built-in removal, and can uncontact during your opponent's turn, which by the way makes this colossal machine as slippery as it is powerful and dangerous. I'll also add bonus points for the all-around great stat line, attack and defense. Number 9, Metaphors Fusion. If you really look at 2016, it was an incredible year for the fusion mechanic. Between ABC and Metaphors, you got two tier 1 powerhouses released this year, and without a doubt, the absolute anchor for Metaphors is this card. A highly searchable fusion spell that puts itself back in the deck and lets you draw a card at the same time is flat out amazing. So much so that you even saw non-fusion decks like the Cyber Angel Herald Hybrid splash it in for utility and speed purposes. Number 8, Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. Going into 2016, things were looking fairly bleak for the Burning Abyss archetype. Konami had just hit Seer and Graph both on the November 9th, 2015 ban list, and the deck drastically appeared to be trending downward. That was until Konami dropped the ultimate mixed signaled bombshell and imported Lady B into Gold Series Infinite Gold. Just like that, Burning Abyss were granted pretty much a new lease on life, as she served as not only a larger wall than Dante, but one that could proactively dump cards into the grave during the opposing player's turn, hence triggering nice effects like Farfa. Some even argue that Lady B saved the deck. Number 7, Totally Awesome. Totally Awesome is a lot like butter, salt, or sugar in the kitchen. It makes everything you add it to a whole lot better. A pint-sized 2200 attack monster, but the commanding field presence of a Titan. TA not only towers over the field, threatening to negate any card your opponent activates, but he also can steal that card and turn it against your opponent in an instant. Couple that with its ability to summon other frogs to the field and its amazing floatability, and you have arguably the best XC monster of the year. Number 6, Pantheism of the Monarchs. Well, it looks like we finally got to the first card on our list that probably had no business ever being created. I'm all for Destiny draw clones. Black Wings and Fairies both have them, but they come with significant drawbacks. Stupidly, Pantheism not only does not have a drawback, but it actually lets you go plus for no reason at all other than Konami really wanting Monarchs to be good. Pantheism gave Monarchs something they probably never should have had: insane amounts of speed, and without a doubt, it is just easily one of the best draw cards ever created. Number 5, Performapal Monkey Board. There's no debating. This is the best pendulum card released this year. Monkey Board and other Performapal support released in Breaker of Shadows led to the creation of Performagism Pals, one of the strongest decks of all time, and one that forced Konami to enact an emergency ban list. Monkey Board at 3 was one of the most ridiculous things to have to deal with this calendar year, and even when it was moved to limited status, it still felt like a top 2 or 3 card in the game because it allowed pendulum decks to instantly create a full scale, thin their deck, and also pendulum summon at the same time. Number 4, Utopia the Lightning. Konami rarely releases cards that hit near staple status instantly in the extra deck, but that's exactly what happened with Lightning. Accessible with the largest rank pool in the entire game, Lightning is not only incredibly easy to summon, but its raw power in terms of damage is basically unrivaled in the game. 5,000 attack is not only enough to bring the house down, but also take out your neighbors, the old lady next door, the kids at the park, basically anyone who's around the vicinity. It's also pretty crazy that this guy is immune to battle traps in a year that Konami so heavily focused on them. Number 3, Pot of Desires. The most divisive card of the year is also one of the most widely played. Love or hate Desires, you cannot deny its impact on the game across the board. Even combo-based decks are using it to further increase the power of their opening plays. Desires obviously isn't without its glaring faults, most notably the fact that it has caused deck outs, and sometimes it can lead to important pieces of your strategy being lost forever. But the upside of drawing 2 cards is still through the ceiling, and it makes this one of the most attractive cards in the game for duelists. Number 2, Twin Twisters. Meet the card that within weeks of its release became the gold standard for spell and trap removal in the game. Some originally pegged Twin Twisters as a glorified MST, too much focused on the discard cost, but after actual testing, it became very clear being able to instantly answer pendulum skills or potentially blow out your opponent's back row made the discard look pretty much trivial at best, especially when it just seemed to be the year that archetypes got so much good discard fodder. There's a reason that this card almost led to the extinction of Mystical Space Typhoon. Honorable mentions include Card of Demise, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, Nephthybis the Atlantean Prince, Fairy Tale Snow, and Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. Finally, to our number 1, Lunar Light Leo Dancer.
Bruh.
All right, JK. To our real number 1, Solemn Strike. Without a doubt, the defining card of the year that ushered in a new Solemn Brigade and honestly could be looked at as a beacon of hope for those who constantly hear the whispers of how slow and bad trap cards actually are. Solemn Strike has undeniable power and the ability to stop extra deck and pendulum summons as well as monster effects, and do so cost efficiently at a low price of 1500 light points. This makes even decks that don't emphasize back row defense even acknowledge how strong the card actually is. In my opinion, this is currently the most reliable trap in the entire game and is probably the most feared card among all duelists. I think that this card deserved its number 1 spot, and that's why I gave it to it. So let me know what you guys think. What did you actually think of my list? Were there any cards that I missed out on? What was your favorite card from 2016? Leave that in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching as always, and subscribe if you have not already. Subscribing makes life happy.